Andrew Yang or bust. Wow. Only the Sith deals in absolutes, right? Um, is it reasonable? Is it reasonable to make a statement like Andrew Yang or bust? Hmm. So let's take a step back down memory lane here a little bit and look at some other politicians who were faced with certain scenarios. So we go back to 2016 election. We have a situation with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. And in this situation, Bernie Sanders is asked if he doesn't get the nomination, will he support the Democratic candidate? And of course, Bernie Sanders, and I like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders says he will support whatever Democratic politician gets the nomination. That happened to be Hillary Clinton. A lot of people didn't like his decision. A lot of people fell out with Bernie. Bernie ended up not winning good with the people or the election. Then we contrast that to somebody like Donald Trump, who didn't even seem to entertain the idea that there was any other candidate to support. Right? He didn't prematurely move to any thought process like that, any future tense idea like that. It was almost as if he didn't think it could be anybody else but him. I think at that point he made up his mind he was the best candidate for it or nothing. In those two situations, which one was the right answer? Well, history showed that Donald Trump won. However he won, he won. Now, so does that mean that Trump's answer was the right answer? Not necessarily. But it does give us something to think about. That maybe we shouldn't make decisions prematurely. Or maybe we shouldn't make them at all. Or perhaps it was the wrong choice. Of course, with the Andrew Yang campaign and the base that Andrew's pulling from, it's a very diverse, complex base, right? You have former Trumpers, you have some Democrats, some version of Democrats, you have conservatives. You're probably going to have quite a bit of independents. And so this is probably going to end up being one of the most diverse political bases any candidate has pulled from in modern history and been able to do it. And only somebody like Andrew Yang at this point in time could do that. It didn't work out well for Bernie Sanders when options were put on the table, right? And what happens with the concept of kicking the can down the road? Kicking the can down the road. You know what I mean by that, kicking the can down the road? It's when we continue to make concessions when the candidates that we need to run this country don't get in. And we go, well, okay, well, if it just doesn't work out with him, you guys already know at the Democratic convention that, we'll settle for this guy over here, right? I have another idea to pose. Maybe it gets to the point we start letting the Democratic convention know from the very beginning that either it's our candidate or nothing. That might be an option as well. That might not give them any recourse or counterweights against, trying to give us some tomfoolery down the road. Perhaps that could be an option as well, right? So what is the right choice in this case? To be honest with you all, I really don't know. But I think I can tell you pretty much what the wrong choice is at this point. Even entertaining ideas like if Andrew Yang loses, we should pick this candidate or that candidate, right? Or I'd be okay with that candidate. I think the only thing that does is present a way for this process to be or to have a situation similar to what happened with Bernie Sanders back in 2016. He went ahead and he said that he was okay with somebody else being president besides him, and that's what happened. Now, again, Andrew Yang's base is very complex. A lot of these people are Trumpers. So it could very much mean that they just go, oh, what the heck? We didn't get Andrew Yang. We're going back to Donald Trump. Or we're going back to being an independent because the only interest we had in this was Andrew Yang. Pretty much where I'm at with it right now. Right? Is it time to get that message out there? Instead of we'll support whatever the Democratic side throws at us or whatever they want us to have and want us to settle with. Maybe it's time to send a clear message that that's just not how it's going to be this time around. Maybe it's time to send an opposite message to what we sent with Bernie Sanders, right? The Democrats sent with Bernie Sanders. And for those of us who aren't Democrats, like myself and the independents and the Trumpers, they're only in this for Andrew Yang. So it might not be another option. It might not be an opportunity to kick the can down the road. This might be the time where or the point in time where it's time to take a stand, right? We might have to start doing our politics like this, so people understand that there changes need to be made, and the people have to be very stern in those decisions and go, this is it. We're not selling for second best or a few policies that work our way. Now, again, is that the responsible thing to do? Is it what we should be doing? It's something you're going to have to soul search on your own about. But all I'm trying to do is put out some results and details that we've seen in situations like this before, right? And none of these Democratic candidates move me. I'm not really impressed with any of them. They might be saying some things, but they're not saying enough. And Andrew Yang is saying what I want to hear. And many of you all who support Andrew Yang, I'm sure you all feel the same way. Now, they may, sometimes we hear things like, well, this, if we don't support this Democratic candidate, we're going to fall into utter chaos. And this is going to be, well, look, I think we're already going to fall into utter chaos without Andrew Yang because none of these candidates on either side are addressing this technical revolution that is here, right? Nothing's going to stop that devastation unless they put out a policy that speaks directly to that with a solution. None of them have done that. They're totally in the dark about that. It's almost like they don't even think they're in the 21st century. Maybe it's time that they understood our vote is not negotiable, right? Just something to think about. Not telling you what to do, not saying hold your vote, not saying don't vote Democrat for another Democratic candidate because you might think Trump is the devil himself. Again, what I do admire about Trump is when he was faced with this situation, what Trump said was Trump didn't even entertain it, and it worked out for him. He didn't entertain it. It wasn't even on the table for Trump. I don't think for Trump there was another option. I don't believe so. I never heard him one time say, I never heard him one time say that he would be supporting any of those Republicans he ran against. And again, I'm not saying it right or wrong in this case. I'm just saying it might be time for us to start doing our politics a different way, right? We might need to march up to the Democratic convention and let people know this is how things are going to have to be from now on. It's not going to be any tricks or maneuvers you all use to get things done anymore, you know. And so it might be to a point like that, maybe. But I love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Um, do you think, or do you think in the mindset of Andrew Yang or bust, or do you feel we should be more reasonable? And in that case, I'm not even entertaining it, but it has come up around. So in that case, you did have to pick another candidate. Would you be okay with somebody else out there for them to be president? And if so, what specific policies do you think they put out there that address many of the issues that Andrew Yang puts on the table that I don't think will get addressed if he's not president? But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this and your opinions. Andrew Yang or bust? What do you think? Like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Real quick, I'm doing a universal basic income project on my own. Real money involved through the form of cryptocurrency over the blockchain. You are entitled to it. It is free money that you can claim on our website. And we know you're going to have a lot of fun with it. And that's what you get for watching our content and Andrew Yang material that we cover here. But that's all I want to say in this video. Until next time, take care.